This right here is how the UFC should book the UFC 323 main card. Starting off with the main card opener, we have got Sugar Seamus O'Malley taking on Song Yadong. Yo, this fight makes sense. Sean O'Malley is now on a 2-fight losing streak. He's ranked number 1. Song Yadong is coming off that really weird win over Henry Cejudo. He is in the top 5 now. This is just going to be a fun fight. I think Sean O'Malley will win this fight. Just a quick prediction. It's going to be a striking matchup. Sean O'Malley is one of the best strikers in the UFC. I know people might disagree with me on that one, but for those who know ball, they'll know what I'm talking about. Sean O'Malley is one of the best strikers. Song Yadong isn't going to offer up much in the grappling department for Sean O'Malley, and I think Sean O'Malley can quite comfortably outstrike. I don't know if he'll be able to stop Song Yadong. I'm probably going to say no. Yes, Sean O'Malley does hit hard, but Song Yadong's really tough and durable. So I don't think Sean O'Malley will be able to stop Song Yadong in there, but I do think he will win a very comfortable, fun, striking matchup, and that's a perfect way to open up the main card. Next fight up on the Bomba Razaklat card, we have got Aljamain Sterling taking on Yair Rodriguez. Now, just quickly, before people in the comments go, how the hell have you got Aljamain Sterling above Sean O'Malley on the card? This is quite possibly going to be a number 1 contender fight. Now, spoilers, the featherweight title is in the main event of this card, but if Gene Silva beats Diego Lopez, or whoever wins that matchup, I think they do them against Movzar, and then you do Aljamain Sterling versus Yair Rodriguez, and then you've at least got 2 contenders, whoever wins both of those matchups, that are ready for the champion to make defenses against. Aljamain Sterling, Yair Rodriguez makes sense. Yair hasn't fought since UFC 314 where he beat Patricio Pitbull. Aljamain Sterling is coming off arguably a career best performance where he had an actual striking masterclass against Brian Ortega in there. I think this is the fight that makes sense. My early prediction for this matchup, if it does get made, is I see Aljamain Sterling being able to beat Yair Rodriguez. Yair Rodriguez will be dangerous for Aljo on the feet. Aljo cannot go out there with a Brian Ortega game plan against Yair and try and outstrike him. It's not going to work. He'd probably end up being stopped. But I actually think Aljo will go out there, look to implement his wrestling. I don't think Yair Rodriguez will do a good job of stopping Aljamain Sterling's takedowns. I think he'll struggle with the physicality of Aljo in there as well. But Yair is dangerous off his back. We've seen him get submissions before. Look at the Josh Emmett matchup. So there is that possibility that Yair might be able to sub Aljo. I don't see it though, and instead I see Aljamain Sterling being able to sub Yair Rodriguez. But this is a good contenders matchup in the featherweight division, especially when the featherweight title is on in the main event. Moving on up to the feature fight, we have got Belal Muhammad taking on Kamaru Usman. Yo, why is this fight already not being made? Does anyone know why? I actually think this should have been the feature fight to UFC 322, but nonetheless, let's have it on UFC 323 in the feature fight. Usman's talking about fighting the winner of JDM versus Islam Makhachev. Bruh. Yo, who's going to tell Unc that he was on a 10-fight losing streak before the Joaquin Buckley win? And Belal Muhammad probably knows his place. The UFC never wanted to give him a title fight in the first place. They hated when he was champion. Now he's not champion. They definitely don't want to give him another title fight. But this is a massive fight. Belal Muhammad, Kamaru Usman, they've had their beef. You heard about the podcast. Belal Muhammad says he made Kamaru Usman cry. We don't know what happened there. But it's a big fight. 2 big names. You can release that podcast. There's going to be bad blood. It's going to be heated at the press conference, at the face-offs. And I think the fight's going to deliver. Both guys grappling are going to be cancelled out, in my opinion, which is going to lead to a striking matchup. And Belal Muhammad, when he was just put in a striking matchup, we seen him have a fun fight against JDM. And when Kamaru Usman was put in just a stand-up matchup in his fights against Colby Covington, they were both really fun fights. I think this fight will deliver. In terms of who I think wins it, I think Belal Muhammad beats Kamaru Usman. And I actually think I think this version of Belal beats any version of Usman, whether that's prime Usman as champion. I think Belal beats him. I think Belal's got really underrated grappling, and on the feet, Belal Muhammad, I know he says he's got Canelo hands, but he actually does have good striking. He really does. Another fight to go back and watch is Belal Muhammad versus Gilbert Burns. Now, before people say Gilbert Burns was injured in that matchup, he got injured in the fight. Belal showed up to the fight injured and still, on short notice, put on a 5-round striking masterclass against him. I just think Kamaru Usman, I mean, Bilal Muhammad has been knocked out before, we have seen that, and Usman does hit hard, he carries power, and Usman's got a really good 1-2. Everything else outside of the 1-2 is pretty ass, but I think Bilal Muhammad can out volume Kamaru Usman in there, get a win. I think it's a big fight, it'll sell the pay-per-view because both guys will be going back and forth with one another. And it's just a fight that makes sense right now in the welterweight division in terms of the rankings. So book Bilal Muhammad versus Kamaru Usman, and I think Bully B takes home the victory. Moving on to the co-main event, we're going to have Pantoja defend his flyweight title against Joshua Van. This fight's pretty much been confirmed. Both guys faced off with each other at the last pay-per-view card they fought on. I think the co-main event to a December card is perfect for this flyweight matchup. I think this can be a really fun fight as well. I am going to pick Pantoja to win. I just think Pantoja's way more experienced. I think Joshua Van is really going to struggle with the grappling of Pantoja, especially this new Pantoja who quite literally doesn't give a fuck and walks through everything with his head down and just runs at you and takes you down. I don't know how Joshua Van is going to be able to defend against that. With that being said though, Joshua Van hits hard. Pantoja isn't the most defensively sound, although he does have a really good chin. But if Joshua Van can keep this fight standing, he beats Pantoja up. Pantoja, I know he's really improved on his striking, and I actually think he has underrated striking, but Joshua Van's boxing and distance management, Pantoja will not be able to deal with that on the feet if he cannot implement the grappling, which makes this fight interesting, but I would go for Pantoja to win. I think his experience, his high-level grappling, I think he would probably sub Joshua Van, but this right here is the perfect co-main event for this card. And finally, with the main event, we have Volkanovski defending his featherweight title against Lerone Murphy. Now, Volkanovski did call out Lerone Murphy after Lerone Murphy got that crazy knockout over Aaron Pico, and Lerone Murphy accepted the call out, obviously. So this is probably going to be the main event. And I like it. I think it's going to be a fun technical matchup. Do I think it's going to be fight of the year? No, I don't. But I think it is going to be a fun matchup, a very technical striking matchup between both guys. Lerone Murphy is really good, in my opinion. Like, he's not amazing in one department, but he's just really, really good everywhere. He's literally the featherweight version of Leon Edwards. Obviously, Volkanovski, greatest featherweight of all time, might be one of the most well-rounded fighters we have ever seen in UFC history. But there is no denying he is getting up there in age now. This might be his retirement fight. His last 3 fights, Diego Lopez, he won. Took a lot of damage in there against Diego Lopez. Ilia Topuria knocked him out. Islam Makhachev knocked him out. Plus, the guy is late into his 30s. So, Volkanovski isn't the same guy. Let's just be honest. I think that's fair to say. But does he still have enough in the bank to beat someone like Lerone Murphy, who isn't a big puncher? Obviously, he knocked out Aaron Pico, but that was with a spinning elbow. I don't see Volkanovski being caught with something like that. I don't think Volk would pressure Lerone Murphy so stupid and heavily like Aaron Pico did. Like, Aaron Pico was just following him around, just allowing Lerone Murphy to set up traps for him. But I think it's going to be a really fun technical striking matchup. I probably would go with Volkanovski. I think he does have still enough to give to the game where he could beat someone like Lerone Murphy. But who knows? Lerone Murphy is really, really talented. So he might be able to pull off the upset and beat someone like a Volkanovski who is past his prime. Who knows? But this is the perfect main event. And I think that's the perfect UFC 323 main pay-per-view card to end out the year of 2025. Let me know what fights you would like to see on the card. And as always, like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And I'll see you all again in the next one.